Hello students, and welcome to section 1.7. Today we're going to be taking a look at linear models and scatter plots. Scatter plots and correlation. So a relationship between two variables can be expressed as a collection of ordered pairs. The graph of such a set of ordered pairs is called a scatter plot. For a collection of ordered pairs, if y tends to increase as x increases, the collection has a positive correlation. If y decreases as x increases, the collection has a negative correlation. Example 1. The chart below gives the profit for a company for the years 1990 to 1999, where 0 corresponds to 1990 and the profit in millions of dollars. So as you can see, we've got year 0 through 9, we've got profit 5.1 all the way to 6.77. So for part A, sketch a scatter plot of the data. So obviously, as you can see, I've done that for you. That entails if you go on the x-axis in years, y-axis in profit, up by 2 is what I went ahead and did. And then as far as the profit 1 through 8, so 0, and you can see here 5.1, 1 comma 5.22, 2 comma 5.44, and so on and so forth. So go ahead and plot those points. Doesn't have to be perfect. And yes, later I will actually show you how to do this actually on your calculator. And something that you may or may not recall from Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, the graphing calculator will give you some neat kind of connections to continue with, which we'll discuss later on. So here's your graph. That's your scatter plot. Do the data seem to have a negative correlation, a positive correlation, or no correlation? So I would argue that y tends to increase as x increases, very, very gradually. So as x increases, y slowly but surely goes up. And therefore we say this is a positive correlation. So what I'm going to encourage that you do in some of my instructions that follow on the next several pages, I encourage that you actually type in this data set into your graphing calculator using the stat feature, and then of course list 1 and list 2 if you recall. And I say of course, if you don't recall, that's something you're going to have to take a look at and maybe follow the steps on and complete. And then you'll be able to kind of see as the points progress, and from there really take it to the point where you can do something called a regression analysis. We're going to take a look at that again in a little bit. But that's just an example that you certainly can try out on your own. Fitting a line to data. In section 1.1, we learned how to fit a linear equation to two data points. In this section, we expand on this idea. So for example 2, find a linear model for the data given in example 1 above. Okay. So in terms of finding a linear model, this is not quite like doing a regression analysis in the sense that you're not using all the points. However, you are coming up with a best fit line of fit is what we call it, and that would really require still you picking at least 2 points to find things like slope, and then of course the y-intercept, and then from there whether you use point slope or slope intercept, the equation of the line. 2 points obviously speaks to you being able to do those things. You could pick in theory any 2 points, which in theory does also put you in a position to have a variety of answers. So we're going to go ahead and proceed, but again, if you had done this on your calculator using the regression tools, the answer is much more precise as it averages not just 2 points but all the points in such a way where you have a better approximation for the best fit line. So the slope, quite simply, we take y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and in that respect you end up here with 1/5. I then used point slope form. I actually picked this point right here, and I did y minus 5.22 equals the slope. 1/5 times the quantity x minus 1. So again, this point plugged into the point slope form, or if you had picked this point, manipulating it in such a way, distributing, Continuing on with balancing, you would have ended up with this exact same equation if you had used this point instead. The line of best fit, as you can see, is y equals 1/5 x plus 5.02. Is this the best answer? No. Okay, as I indicated earlier, if you had used your graphing calculator's linear regression feature, you would actually have gotten a much more precise answer, averaging all the points instead of 2. So that's something certainly you could try later. All right, continuing on. The linear model that best fits a given collection of data is called the least squares regression line, or a regression analysis, as I refer to it as. We can use the regression feature of a graphing calculator to find the least squares regression line for a given data set. We can then see how well the model fits the data by comparing the actual data values with the values given by the model. In addition to the least squares line, the graphing calculator may also output a value labeled R. This R value is the correlation coefficient for the data. It measures how well the model fits the data. R values range between -1 and +1. The closer the absolute value of R is to 1, the better the model fits the data. So as I proceed here, so that concludes kind of the more traditional breakdown of my notes, as you've seen. In continuation, though, we've created a nice kind of description of how regression will work, and more specifically in the context of what, who, and really why, kind of the background knowledge that you would need to understand how regression fits into what we're doing here. So instead of reading every single point here, I just want to highlight some of the key features. I do expect, though, that you try some of these things on your own, and that includes using some of the graphing calculator techniques and tools. First, what is a regression analysis? As I had mentioned earlier, finding the best fitting line or mathematical model. There's several regression models on your calculator. For pre-calc, we're going to stick to linear and nonlinear regression, where the data sets contain one independent variable and one dependent variable. So y equals mx plus b, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and so on. So linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, exponential, logarithmic, power, and the sine function as well. So these are the functions on your calculator that are more common to pre-calculus classes. And your calculator actually can give you a nice equation using all the data points. Who uses regression? Well, anyone who wants to make a prediction or inference based on a particular data set. And yes, these days regression is the most used method for data analysis. What type of data sets can be used for regression? For a pre-calc class, you're going to use any type of data that compares two quantities. When choosing a data set, it's a good idea to keep the following points in mind. So the data set must contain a dependent and independent variable, in other words, an x and a y. You may want to standardize it. This is a nice kind of explanation as to how you can go about doing that. Determining, well, 2 points, of course, in determining a unique line is what you need. 3 or more are used in a real-life linear regression. And then continuing on concepts that would require, coming up with a quadratic and so on. Guideline, you want more points that required for a unique model, or that are required for a unique model. Frankly, the more points you have, the better the regression analysis will be. And really the better the R value will be when it's all said and done. That R value is a very crucial feature of putting together your final answer. So what is the correlation coefficient? So speaking of that, there is a caution. It says the use of R is only associated with a linear model. So we see here, and I'm going to point to the graph, a perfect positive correlation. When it's perfect, this is very, very rare. When it's perfect, your R value is 1. So as you can see, there's literally one line that goes through every single point. A perfect negative correlation is when R equals -1. Again, one line that goes through every single point. On this graph, there is no correlation whatsoever. This is where r equals 0. This is a line that you can theoretically draw, but only a horizontal line. Think of it like a zero slope. This would be a positive slope, obviously, and this would be a negative slope. Yes, you can have perfect positive and negative correlations given the r values of 1 and -1, but typically that's only going to happen if every single point that you have in your data set will fall on the line. A quick way to interpret the r value is as follows. So you've got this kind of range of r values or r scores between 0 and 0.2. It's a very weak correlation. Between 0.2 and 0.4, notice it does also show the absolute value. Still weak or low correlation technically. It's not very significant. The first is very weak. As you crank up the r score or r value, 0.4 to 0.7, it's moderate. 0.7 to 0.9, it's strong or high correlation. And if your r value falls between 0.9 and 1, it's a very strong correlation. If r was negative in the first place, then certainly we're talking about a very strong negative correlation. If r was positive in the first place, we're talking about a very strong positive correlation. The next page describes how we measure the relationship for nonlinear functions. This information is kind of FYI. I do want you to take a look at it. Certainly this is something that if you dug deeper into correlation coefficients, you'd like to maybe apply it in different ways in this particular manner. How do you choose which model best fits a given data set? This is important. It says the most important point to consider is interpolation versus extrapolation. Interpolation, that's frankly as easy as really predicting. They're both predictions technically, but predicting inside of data values. So if you have 2 points, anywhere in between, let's say those 2 points, you're going to interpolate or kind of predict based on what your model is. Picking one of the original data points from the very beginning here. All right. I know, of course, between 0 and 1, it jumps from 5.1 to 5.22. But if you're going to interpolate, in other words, let's say you wanted to predict it at 0.5 or in between, halfway between 0 and 1. Well, that prediction might lead to an answer of 5.15, that type of thing, or closer to 5.2 even. So that's an interpolation, while an extrapolation is an extreme case, in this case, outside of the values. So let's predict, let's say 10. You're extrapolating outside, so predict 10 or 11 or 12, that kind of thing. So outside of the data values is extrapolate, while inside of the data values is interpolate. That description continues on. I do want you to read through that, but it's pretty much exactly what I said. Unless otherwise stated, these are the guidelines for using regressions. Interpolation, extrapolation, which should be done cautiously, only if the model appears to be reasonable beyond the domain of the data set. So I do want to highlight, well, there's the source that we gathered this from. I do want to highlight that before you begin your homework for tonight, that we have a page here for calculator access. I am not going to walk you through step by step how your calculator can do these things for you. That is up to you. We try to lay it out in such a way where you're following one step at a time how to perform a regression analysis. I do strongly urge that you look at the very first example again and walk through one step at a time how you go through the stat plot. Before that, even if you wish to get R values, that kind of thing, you have a diagnostic option that you can turn on. So follow those steps. Step 1 through, it appears 6, it gives you in step 6 the ability to calculate and store the linear regression. And if you continue on all the way through 7 through 11, you can calculate a variety of regression models and do not just linear, but quadratic, cubic, quartic, and so on. And that continues on to the next page. So please, I urge you, please practice with the first example. Try the linear regression as the calculator access page describes, and then continue on with your homework.